Alex Adam has two first names and is the founder and creative director at Boredom Kills Creative. The studio, not an agency, is based in the UK and operates worldwide with a mission to build community and connection through world-class brand identities and storytelling that gets products on shelves and butts in seats. You may have seen their work for brands like Churn, New Brew, or Prince Street Pizza. I first saw Alex's work on Instagram, where he's a bit of a content king, where he posts like studio recaps, case studies, and other branding related videos. We had a great conversation with Alex and we discussed his work and learned about his pop punk background. Starts now. You're a pro. I mean, you're a front face king.
Yeah, I have done some.
Yeah, no. When did you start doing those?
Maybe like a year and a half ago now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Did it come naturally, or did you have to try to figure it out, get a learning curve?
Oh, no, it was awkward as hell at first. It was definitely like, especially because you're on your own in the room. It's just you and a camera, and it's like, okay, personality, go. Like, that does not happen.
Let me turn this thing on.
Yeah, let me just become an actual psychopath and like, hi, guys.
No, you have a very natural, like, YouTuber kind of energy that you're bringing. Is that something that you tapped into? Like, or
it is, I guess, like previous to the studio, I was in a band, which was very front facing, very like talk to the camera, perform for the camera, be on stage.
Really?
So what kind of band?
It was a pop punk band.
Okay, yeah. Let's go.
Yeah. So that is kind of where I was like, I mean, you know, we joked about positioning before this, but like in my mind, I was like, what can I actually do that like is somewhat unique to me?
Yeah.
And I'm fine talking on stage. I'm fine talking on camera.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are not.
No, I think most designers would consider themselves introverts.
Yes.
Myself included.
I'm an introvert. I am a masking introvert.
That's right.
I would
Me
say.
too. Yeah.
So I can turn it on, but then I'm going to stare at the wall in the hotel for 3 hours to recharge. Like,
yeah. And if someone invites you to something, you don't want to go.
If it's last minute, no.
Yeah.
If I knew like 6 months in advance, then I can prepare.
Well, it's nice. You got your own flow. I don't know anyone else who's like, oh, yeah, so, you know, we're working on this project and it's in this phase. Doing a good job on there.
I appreciate that, yeah. The level up recently is that I brought in my friend to shoot the content with me.
Nice.
And he was in the band too. So he's like someone I've been with for the last like 12 years. And having another person to bounce off made it so much easier.
Really?
Yeah, that's key.
Because I'm not now just being like, okay, did I have enough personality in that 60-second clip of me just talking on my own?
Alex was out one week and I tried to do like a solo episode of a podcast.
Yeah.
And I ended up just like kind of having a mental breakdown and just like, it was bad. Immediately deleted, just never see the light of day. It's tough.
I'm still trying to get some of the footage there because it sounds incredibly like terrible, but also amazing. At some point, it comes out the other side.
It's tough to do solo content. I can't imagine.
It's so much easier now I have a friend.
That's great.
Yeah, now I'm just like, okay, come over. We got to do this. Like, we'll just drink too much coffee and have fun.
Nice. The thing that sounded good to me was the room. I was like, ooh, a nice, like, quiet room somewhere where you can be as embarrassing as you want to yourself. Because I think, to me, the secondhand embarrassment, because sometimes I try to set up, like, microphones in here, and I'm like, if anyone hears me be like, well, today on Front and Center, we got a story from Oreo. You know, it's like it starts to be like, whoa, who the fuck is that weird TikTok voice?
Yes.
You know, where's that coming from? But
that is the barrier to entry for this, though, is like, you think you have to put on a weird TikTok voice, but you don't. You just have to be you. And
wow.
Like,
just be yourself.
Damn.
Honestly, it's like some
yeah.
fucking fortune cookie shit, but like, it's true. Like, I definitely did the funny voice at first, and then over reps of doing it, I was like, oh no, I don't want to. I would rather not have work than do that.
But I think sometimes when I do it, and I use my regular voice, I'm like, man, this guy's low energy. You know,
Yeah,
you do
there
need
is-
to tap in a little bit of juice, right?
Yeah, you got to dial it up a tiny
That's
bit.
where the coffee comes in, right?
That's where the coffee comes in. Yeah, and I think like
Do
coming
you want
back.
any coffee?
No, I'm good, thank you. I've had enough today. But yeah, I think that's where the kind of band thing was really valuable for me, because we spent 10 years like kind of overthinking who you were supposed to be.
Yeah.
And you come out the other side and go, it's just like me, but dialed up a bit. That's the thing.
Can I ask about the band? What was the band called pop punk.
Yeah, pop punk.
I just finished Mark Hoppus's memoir.
Okay,
So
nice.
I'm a fan of the genre.
Okay, nice. I feel like there's a cutoff though, right?
Yeah, Blink-182, and then that's all I've ever listened to. Okay. What was the band?
The band was called Rome.
Okay.
Which was named after another band in our scene's very popular song, which
Okay.
was an interesting choice.
Okay, how did they like that? Did they?
They did not.
Wow, shocker.
and no one else in the scene liked it either.
Okay, cool.
But I think that kind of acted as fuel in the early days for people like,
Some tension.
who the fuck is this? What are they doing?
Yeah. Who are these guys?
Yeah.
And where exactly did you grow up?
I grew up on the south coast of the UK in a town called Eastbourne, which is known for just elderly people. They call it God's waiting room. And actually, like, I think we might have to rebrand it because
Why? That's
Definitely.
perfect.
well, I think they're not in the waiting room anymore.
Oh, they're in hospice or they're
No, as in like they're with him. They're with the Lord now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're gone though.
They're gone, yeah, and we're starting to get younger people.
Okay, so we need to rebrand to try to attract more youth.
Yes, yeah.
Got it. And so growing up there, you were bored,
100%.
and creative.
Yeah,
You put that into music or design or both?
music.
Okay.
It was 100% music until I was like maybe 27,
Okay.
28, potentially.
Were you the guy in the band that made the flyers and the merch and the artwork?
Not originally.
Really? Okay.
No, not originally. I had no... I mean, I was okay at design at school, but I was not really a design guy. I was 100% in on music. And the band was like full-time, so that became kind of everything.
You were just the charismatic frontman.
I was singer and guitarist.
Okay.
But there was another singer as well, which...
Two
made it-
singers?
Oh, yeah.
In a band?
Yeah.
Wow. I hear this a lot from designers. I feel like it's a very common path, or at least it's one of the most common paths.
Yes.
Which is, I was in a band, they needed flyers,
Yep.
they needed artwork, and I decided to do that. I was the one that did it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the band broke up, and then I took it professionally that way. But
Yeah.
that wasn't the case here.
I mean, towards the point where I was like, I need money.
Okay.
I need to survive.
What?
That was where I was like, oh, I could try and like learn
It's
to
expensive
design.
to live in God's waiting room?
It was expensive to be on tour.
You sold out, man.
It was cheap to be in God's waiting room, but I was not there often.
Yeah. How was touring? Was that the dream that Mark Hoppus makes it sound like in his memoir, Fahrenheit 182? Available now, wherever you buy books?
He maybe has experienced a different end of that spectrum to me.
Oh, because Blink-182 was the biggest pop punk
Yeah.
band in the world, and
Yeah.
he's incredibly rich.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. I credit it to a lot of what I have now and who I am now.
Sure.
But it was hard.
Yeah. He does make it seem hard. I will say that. It's a good book.
Yeah.
If anyone's interested. I like memoirs. I like
Right.
documentaries. I like just real stories. I like to learn more stuff. And yeah, he talks about the sort of the gruelingness of being in Cincinnati, Ohio, and it's freezing fucking cold, and you have to load in all of your own equipment and play to 5 to 10 people.
Yes.
And you basically lose money on the operation and then have to just immediately go to the next show.
Yeah.
That night.
Uh-huh.
Was that how it was for you guys?
That's exactly how it was, yeah.
Did you have any moments of breakthrough? 10 years is a long time.
10 years is a long time, yeah. The last tour we did when we broke up, we actually called 10 Years Is Enough. Did we have any breakthroughs? I mean, we had like some success with a couple songs.
Okay.
In terms of like very low level success, but like 10, 15 million streams on a couple songs, which
wow.
I would consider
That's tight, yeah.
as like our kind of breakthroughs.
Do you have fans?
Yeah, we definitely did.
Yeah.
We toured. We did best in the UK, but we toured the whole world. We did Australia, Japan, Singapore, the US. We did Canada.
That's exciting.
But it was varying levels of like 3 people, 300 people.
Any breakout shows? Any shows that are like, this was the greatest moment of my life. Nothing's ever going to top this.
I think the greatest achievement for me personally was like, I grew up on Sum 41. They were my favorite band in the world. They're the reason I started playing guitar. And we when they went on their like big hiatus, the first time they came back to the UK to tour, we supported them.
Wow.
And that was like
all killer, no filler.
It was all killer, no filler. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
But in that exact era, we had also copied their logo.
Oh, sick.
And like regurgitated some of their songs as our own.
I'm starting to notice a trend here.
Yeah. But I wasn't aware of that at the time. I was just like, this is great. And then now I see the poster and I'm like, ooh, those are the same logo.
So it seems like the band had a sort of a brand in its own, right? Where there was a playfulness, there was a willingness to fuck around with other bands.
Yeah.
And I feel like that maybe translate into Boredom Kills Creative. I see a thread. Do you think about that as like a pop punk band? I feel like pop punk is the one genre that doesn't take itself that seriously.
Yes, yeah.
I love that about it, right? It's like, fuck your mom, kind of like dumb and, and stupid. And it's like, there's a stupidity to it that's like, yeah, this is not that serious. I'm playing a guitar on a stage and singing some songs. And I think that's what drew me to your work. I think it's the way that you talk about it. It's the way that you maybe don't take it so seriously but take it very seriously at the same time. And you could do both of those things.
Yeah.
Do you correlate that to pop punk to design agency?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's pop punk as such.
Are you the Blink-182 of graphic design? Is really what I want to say.
I have a feeling it wouldn't instill the most trust in potential clients.
Okay. All right. Don't worry, none of them are listening. That's one thing you need to know.
I think it is just having never had like a job as such.
Yeah.
There was never like a way to act. There was never like a code of conduct. It was just, I mean, obviously there's a code of conduct, but it's a weird thing to say. I don't know. Like there was just like you just are yourself. And if that works and you're rewarded for that, then you continue.
Did the brand or the band have like conversations about the brand of the band? It sounds like there were some thought there.
The early days, there was not. And the early days is where we had the most kind of like quick success, maybe because we were 18 when we started it. And at that age, it's just like, do I think it's funny? Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do it. And then I'm going to regret it when I'm 31 and on a podcast and people are digging stuff up.
They only want to talk to me about my pop punk band.
Yeah. Well, but
it is interesting though.
Yeah, I think it does. I think you're right. It does transition into what I do now.
I do think that music acts are more strategic from a branding perspective than you might think.
Yes.
I think Drake is really strategic. I think there are a lot of artists that are like, there's an opportunity, there's a lane, there's something that will gravitate or make people gravitate towards the music, which is really what I want them to hear. But like, what is the thing outside of the music that is maybe going to get them to come to it? I think, Chappell Roan or Billie Eilish or a lot of pop stars, I feel like you look at them and you're like, without the brand of those containers, like I do think the music is obviously great. Yeah. You have to have the great music, but also there's definitely an identity and branding and strategy that I think maybe goes untalked about maybe.
Yes, that is, I think that's kind of where it came from for me.
Yeah.
Where like each album cycle you are going, okay, well, what's the album about? What are the visuals going to look like? There's an element of like, even if you didn't create those things, there's creative direction in, okay, so this is this era of what we're doing and this is the visuals. This is what the music video is going to look like. These are the types of people we're going to talk to on PR. This is like the types of bands that we want to be associated with as well. So you do
positioning. Yeah,
you do position for each album. I think our kind of issue maybe was that we repositioned for every album as opposed to being like building on what you knew of.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like a rebrand for every album maybe doesn't create enough consistency.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And so when did the band break up?
I guess like 3 years ago now, 2022.
Okay, so one of the band members really got into aliens, I assume.
Yes, one of them did.
Wow.
Not aliens, flat Earth.
Oh, flat
yeah.
Earth. Wow, is that wow. Okay, let's go.
It's yeah, I mean
they became a flat earther.
Oh, full flat Earther. Yeah.
Well, really?
Yeah.
And you don't think the world is flat?
I know. I am what is it, globular? What's the word?
Round?
Traditional, but I think it's offensive to say that.
Oh,
I think we have to pay.
You can't call the earth round anymore?
No, I think you have to say that you it's not like I believe the traditional version of the earth. It is I believe in a globular Earth.
Wait, it's offensive?
No, I don't think so. I mean, in the videos he shows me, it's offensive, and people are like, "You guys need to wake up."
Oh yeah, those people are fired up.
Yeah, they get pretty jazzed about the disc.
Did that find its way into the band like stage performances, or is this a
no? This is post.
This is post.
This
okay.
is post.
This
is
well, the brand positioning weeded that out.
Yeah,
they would never talk about that type of stuff.
Yeah,
on stage.
We don't take a stance on politics or Earth
Okay,
shapes.
no, it's controversial.
Yeah,
and some people
you don't want to lose people.
That's right. You know, sort of flat earthers buy records too. You know,
yeah, they do. Yeah,
that's what Michael Jordan said. So the band was still going when you started the agency.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So at some point the band is like still a band,
Yeah.
but maybe not making money.
Yeah.
So...
Well, that was never true. Actually, only post band has the band ever made me personally any money.
Wow.
Which is really strange.
Yeah. There's some irony there.
Yeah.
So you started an agency. Or you
Yes.
started designing.
I started designing whilst we were on tour because I was like, I can't feed myself.
How am I going to buy these chicken sandwiches?
How will I buy chicken sandwiches?
And so you were like, okay, graphic design.
Yeah.
And so what were the things you were working on?
Just really bad illustration for like other bands at first. And then to your point, I started doing like tour posters.
Okay.
But it didn't come from a place of like, I need to design the tour poster for our band. It came from like, oh shit, I need to start a business because this is a lifestyle business. And the
band.
Yeah. Like it's
so you're like, I need the most lucrative job I can get.
Yeah. There is like a thread of like jobs that your parents would be upset about. And I just stacked them up.
Yeah. So the next one, obviously, influencer.
Influencer, comedian.
Yeah. Content creator.
Yes. Well, that one's coming.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. And I imagine that all the artwork was done in the back of a white Sprinter van. That's like how all this design was made in the last row next to a bunch of gear.
And at first it was done with my mum's old iPad using my finger.
Oh, God.
Because there was no
Humble
Apple
beginnings.
Pencil.
That's awesome.
I was pre-Apple Pencil.
Really?
Yeah.
And the bumpy road didn't affect anything?
Oh, it did. It was so bad.
No, it gave it more more personality.
Yeah. The early days,
More
I was
grit.
very much about like the textural design work because I was like, oh, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah, I'm doing this on a tour bus.
Yeah.
And and not in like one of those sort of cubes with the sort of the thing that you can open and close, just the back of a van.
A cube with like a curtain.
Like a curtain. That was the word I was looking for. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate that. I couldn't find curtain.
No.
That's it. I've never been on a tour bus, clearly.
Yeah, me
My
neither.
band didn't make it out of high school.
Mine didn't make it out of vans.
Isn't it funny when all these sort of artists like romanticize van life, and it's only because they got out of van life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're like, now I have a bus with just my family,
Yeah.
and everything I ever wanted to eat or drink is there. And they're like, oh, van life. But then the van life is horrendous, I imagine.
We once I think it was our first US tour, we shared a like 12-seater, I don't know what it's actually called, but like a Ford something or other. 12-seater. There were 12 of us in it.
Oh my God.
And we had a trailer for the luggage, and we did a full US tour in that.
Oh my God.
And it was just like the amount of fights was
sleeping on the ground.
Oh, we would get one Motel 6, and you would have 2 people in each bed, one person on the floor, one person under the desk, and then the rest would be on benches or on the floor in the van.
I would imagine that's just so you guys can shower, right?
Yeah. It was like a 4-hour stop and then carry on.
Jesus. How many people were in this band? Sorry, I keep coming back to the band.
5.
5.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not terrible.
No.
I feel like, I mean, it makes sense why there's no money because 5 is a lot.
Yeah.
You know, but I never understand how any band that has more than 5 ever makes any money because they have to sort of, doing these shows. So at what point did the design in the back of the van become sort of like, okay, I'm not just doing this with my finger anymore. I can use a full computer, or I can maybe take on a client, and this can be something that I can do for the rest of my life.
I think I started by offering design services to other bands because I was like, my band's not going to pay me because we don't have any money.
Yeah.
So I started doing really bad designs for other bands and tour posters. And I guess at that point I was like, okay, I'm actually doing this because someone gave me like $50 for something.
Yeah.
So that was when I got Illustrator, Photoshop, and started kind of messing around with that. And it was a slow progression over the next like 2 years of like, I first of all was doing posters. So I'd make merch, I would make screen printed posters. They sold really well at first because it was fans of the band that were buying it. So I was like, oh, I'm an artist. This is my calling. But then once that initial wave of like people supporting disappeared, I was then sat with like, oh, I have 400 posters at home and no one wants them.
Of a band that I don't even like.
Not even of a band, like just design posters at that point.
That
was transitioning into like, I'm an artist.
Okay. So these are just to get your ideas out there into the world.
Yeah.
That there's nothing more humbling than sitting on your own inventory and just being like, okay, no one, there's not a market for this.
Yeah.
I was just looking on your LinkedIn, and it says that the agency was founded in January of 1924.
Yes. Yeah. Just post World War I.
So you have just celebrated, or you're about to celebrate 102 years.
Yeah.
So
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
At what point did you decide to make your design work an agency in reality, not on the LinkedIn sort of 100 years? Although very funny, because it does say you've been doing this for 101 years and 8 months.
Yeah.
Next to your experience.
Yeah. It's my USP.
No, it's great. It's very pop punk of you.
Yeah.
It's the most experienced designer we've ever had on the program.
That's huge. It's huge.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And when you combine the fact that everyone was with me at that point as well,
right.
that's like 400 years of experience between us.
Wow.
Yeah, huge.
I think honestly it was probably 3 or 4 years ago that it became a studio.
Okay.
Until then it was freelance work and I was taking on a lot of different things. Didn't really know what I was doing.
At what point do you think you should be able to call yourself a studio? And at what point do you become an agency?
Okay. I would say studio is 5 people and under.
Okay.
Maybe.
Shit.
So I would say we're studio.
Okay. And we're an agency because
I
we
would
have
say
10.
you're an agency.
Shit. See, we still want to be a studio.
What's your definition?
Well, it's funny. I saw this question going around a little bit online, and I think 10 is you could still be a studio. I actually think 15 and under, I think you could still be a studio in my mind. I think once you cross 15 and you have to like call in advance to go to a restaurant or like get a back room or you can't sit at one table.
Ooh, as the guy who spearheads lunch around here, we are getting to that point where it's a bit hard to get into restaurants.
Yeah.
That's agency stuff.
Yeah, that's agency. Yeah.
I would have no trouble getting into a restaurant.
But I think it's an interesting question. My real true answer is I don't think that it's a number thing.
Yeah, why do we got to label everything?
Yeah, I think it's a mindset.
Yeah, and you are
a studio. Yeah, we're not an agency. I
Right.
actually hate the word agency.
right.
But sometimes we have to pretend like we're an agency.
We don't have a single agent here.
So it's a studio, a collective of freelancers.
Yeah. And where did the name come from? Boredom Kills Creative.
I hate the name.
Yeah. It does kind of sound like they could do Warped Tour.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, there was Glamour Kills.
Yeah.
Which is probably where I honestly, I have not got a good history with naming based on the band and then the studio.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Naming
Naming is tough.
Yeah. Honestly, it was because when we were on tour, we would turn up at a fucking warehouse in the middle of Germany to play a show where there's nothing around. And you might get there at like 1 p.m., but you're not playing till 10. And if you have no money, you can't Uber anywhere. You're just going to sit in a warehouse for 9 hours until you play.
Okay.
And I was like, this is fucking killing me.
Yeah.
I should be able to do something with this time that is productive, that means I could afford to at least get an Uber somewhere. So it was like Boredom Kills was the kind of where that came from, I guess.
Got it. And so creative was added
just
at the end, like a studio or people call it center design.
Yeah.
But we go by center. So your Boredom Kills. It's a lot like Blink-182. They were actually just Blink. And then they had to add the 182 because apparently some other band sued them.
Right. Okay.
So Boredom Kills Creative is the full thing.
Yeah.
But I actually like the name. I think it sounds it does, now that I think about it, does have Warped Tour energy, but I don't think there are a lot of agencies out there that go that route.
No.
it's definitely unique in that way. And then sort of what were the first projects that you guys were doing technically as a studio or as a sort of a collective?
A lot of it at the time was hospitality stuff,
Okay.
mainly in LA. We had a couple of good clients who connected us with a bunch of different restaurants, coffee shops. And we were doing branding, but then also merch, but then also like, what else do you need? We could do all of that, please.
Okay.
Just to try and build the business, which was like bad advice. I wouldn't do that if I was doing it again, but we took on everything, built out a bunch of retainers, and then I used that to build the team.
Nice.
And once we got the team, it was then like, okay, let's focus in on the thing that we want to be known for and how we want to grow as like professionals.
Got it. And these restaurants were mostly in America?
Mostly in LA.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so how did you get LA restaurants to go with your agency as someone, I assume, not living in LA at that time?
I think honestly, COVID was a big thing because everyone was not in person anymore.
Okay.
And this was kind of around the time where things started to really pick up for us. So people had got used to Zoom and got used to working remotely, and it just never was an issue.
Really?
People were never concerned. The only thing people were concerned with in the early days was like when we were doing kind of more scrappy retainer work, people were like, well, what if I need a flyer made by 3 p.m. today and I tell you at 2 p.m.?
Yeah.
Which at the time I was like, oh, figure it out.
Yeah. You're like,
Now it would be
I don't
like,
sleep. I'm fine. Was there a project that got you guys like through, or like was sort of like a breakout project?
So we did a branding project for a burrito place in LA called Kofax.
Okay.
That was kind of the first thing we ever did, like the first branding job we ever did. And that led to a bunch of, like they were quite a buzzy, they still are quite a buzzy burrito place. And that led to a bunch of other restaurants and coffee shops and stuff. We also did some work with a brand that is no longer called Augie's Coffee. They had like 9 locations and we did all their merch, and they would always share who did their merch.
Oh, nice.
Whenever they posted. So that was quite big for us, getting a bunch of more kind of like merchy coffee shop stuff. But I think the biggest transition was when we were working with a place called Prime Pizza, and they did a collaboration with Zab's Hot Sauce.
Okay.
That was where I met Miles at Zab's, and I was like, ooh, CPG. This
Nice.
feels
Yeah,
less
yeah.
stressful, more focused, more like there is a business plan.
In my head, it's like a glowing, like, consumer packaged goods.
Yes, it
I
was.
can take this branding that I've been doing for sort of hundreds of experiences inside of one restaurant that maybe has a retainer, but maybe not that much money.
Yeah.
To a project that is going to be in stores, is going to be on shelves, and maybe has a little bit more money. So Zab's is this sort of, I'm seeing the through line here.
Yeah.
So that was like the first packaging project you guys did?
Yeah. I mean, we'd done like pizza boxes and stuff, but yes, that was the first CPG project that we worked on. And yeah, it did open the door to like, oh, these brands have to invest in their branding. They have to invest in how they're positioned because the market is so much more saturated. You can't just walk past and get the idea.
Yeah. And you're not just like, oh, I'm in the mood for tacos.
Yeah. You're not shopping for it often.
Yeah. And I think, how does that translate in your mind from like sort of going from band posters to restaurants to doing it in sort of a retail store or a sort of a supermarket?
The through line that I come back to, I think, is that when we were in the band, there was often a sense of like trying to work out who we were and trying to work out what our brand was rather than letting it kind of come naturally. And we had a conversation with our A&R guy once, and he was like, so what's your thing? I was like, our thing is that we play music and that people like the music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do these things called songs. And then we play one, and then we do some banter with the crowd, and then we play another one. and so on and so on until they make us get off the stage.
Yes, yeah,
That's
exactly. Right. And in return, we give all of our money, and they give none.
Yes, yeah. And we just travel all around and just lose money everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, but that is interesting because you didn't go to design school, right?
No.
You didn't study branding. You didn't study any of this, but you learned through this experience that like you need to have a thing.
You need to have a thing. You need to understand your audience. I think that so much of making merch as a band was really interesting because you would get hyped on the design, and then no one would fucking buy it because they were like, I'm not you. I'm like a 14-year-old girl that is excited about like bubble writing or like, do you know what I mean? Like it's understanding consumers, but it's also understanding like what builds cultural moments, because so much of what we engineered as a band in terms of like this album campaign, this music video, this kind of like way that we're going to promote this fell flat.
Yeah.
Where a tour documentary where someone says something fucking stupid would get shouted at us in the streets when we were before a show.
Interesting. Yeah.
So it was like, it's so hard to engineer what you think people want.
Yeah.
And I think that taught me a lot about that.
And now you call that building brands you want to be friends with.
Yeah.
Because I do think that like, and in some ways, I think we talk about like brands that people want to be a part of. And I do think there's a lot of strategery to try to make what we do feel complex and try to create complex ideas around brand strategy and positioning. But at the end of the day, it's two things. It's a story, and ultimately that leads to a feeling, which is I want to be a part of that story.
Yes. Yeah.
And I feel like that's simple, and I feel like sometimes as designers we want to make it complicated.
Oh yeah. We love mental masturbation of like, here's a 65-page deck. It outlines customer archetypes. And
do you guys ever do that thing where you have to like put a persona to that archetype?
Yes.
Like,
this is Karen. She loves Lululemon and
those
skincare.
Help. Those definitely help though.
No, those are hugely important.
They help. Yeah, they definitely help. But I think there is an element of gut feeling. Like I think.
Why does Karen always have to like Lululemon, right?
Yeah,
she always does, and she's always got 2 kids,
and they always have like 250,000 disposable income. You're like, where are these people?
Yeah, where are these Karens? They're all in LA, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I agree. We all do this, but at the end of the day, it's quite simple. And I think sometimes the simpler you make it, the better the work comes out, in my opinion. So in terms of the work, Churn was the first project that caught my radar from you guys. I want to talk about it because from a product perspective, really interesting butter, really dynamic flavors. And from a branding perspective, really cool, really fun. But what really got me was the TikTok and Instagram videos that you started putting out around the brand. So talk to me about how you got introduced to the project. Did you guys build the brand in the beginning?
Yes. Yeah. Well, we didn't build the first brand.
Okay.
I'm not sure who built that, but I bumped into Michael at Expo West.
Okay.
The founder.
We got to get there.
We've never been there.
Okay.
Should we go?
I don't know. I mean, it's a rite of passage, and I think it's important to be on trend and understand what things are happening in the industry. But personally, as a naturally introverted person, it is hell.
It does feel like hell because I sometimes get overwhelmed when I'm in a coffee shop and there's like too many people in that room. That sounds like that times a million.
Yeah, and you're walking down one aisle where it's like every single one of these is a protein drink. It's like the Spider-Man meme.
Yeah.
We need that though.
Yeah,
it's important.
Yeah, we need more protein drinks. I don't know about you, but I'm trying to get my protein up.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe you should go Expo West
just to get more protein.
I just want to go to look and observe.
No, I also want to go and make content as fellow contentsmen.
Yes. Yeah.
So you meet the founder and he's got a brand and it's bad.
Yeah. Basically, that kind of was the case. I mean, I think it was on his radar to rebrand and to sort out the packaging. I had got in through Zabs, so it looked like I worked at Zabs because I think it's like $1,000 to walk the floor.
It's very expensive, yeah.
Yeah, so I got in on a guest pass from Zabs, and he loved Zabs and wanted to collaborate with them, and I was like, well, let me make the introduction.
I like it.
They never did it. They got they got quite far.
You never made the intro.
No, I never made the intro. I think number one thing to do is to lie to people to get what you want.
Yeah,
100%.
clip that out. And,
The secret to success in this industry.
yeah.
Lying,
Cheating
and
false promises.
deception.
That's right.
I think that's an umbrella.
Yeah, you're like, I heard you like Zabs, but what's it going to take to get you into new brand identity?
Yeah. Well, that kind of started the conversation anyway, and then we met up a couple times and we got coffee, and it was very clear that he was thinking the same way I was thinking. Like I think the brand was great, but it was very, very Chobani at the time.
Yeah.
And he was aware of that too.
Sure.
So we worked on everything, really. I mean, we worked with them very closely on retainer for 2 years, probably during that whole period. So repositioning, rebranding, packaging, website, everything. And then kind of iterating on feedback that we were getting from buyers, from customers, to really get to a place where it felt very understandable, but also still had that emotional appeal at retail. Because I think the first round of design was great, but we got a lot of feedback from Costco and a couple other places that it was like, people aren't shopping for churn, they're shopping for flavored butter, so we need to make that clearer.
Yeah, no, and I like that sort of transparency as well. I think the videos that you do, I think you break down design in a way that feels relatable, in a way that feels human, in a way that doesn't feel like, that makes it feel like I can do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's ultimately something that is really important, I think, for designers, because there's been generations of designers that have made themselves seem way better than we are. So therefore, we can't do what they do, and their secrets are things that they don't want to share.
Yes, yeah. I think there is a little bit of a accessibility issue maybe with some of the cooler studios.
Yeah, and I think that's changing. I think
Yeah.
that's shifting. I think there's a new generation that's like, I don't want to gatekeep how I do things, and I think that's why I was drawn to your videos, because I was like, oh, this is really smart and really good business tool to talk to potential clients or to bring people in to sort of help people understand the work that you do and the decisions you made. And then second, immediate jealousy, because I'm like, why are we not making videos like this? Why can I not talk to a camera without feeling incredibly embarrassed?
Yeah.
But you do it really well. When did you start making these videos connected to the projects?
I think the first one was probably about 1.5 years ago.
Okay. Was it before Churn or after Churn? Because
I
I feel like the
I think
first
it
one
was
I saw
Churn,
was
potentially.
Churn. In my mind, I was like, oh, this is really, the work is great, but I was more jealous of the video than the work, even though I thought the work was great and it was, obviously a really cool brand. I was like, man, this video and the art direction, everything, and then just the way that you're talking about it felt really honest, but really came natural.
Yeah, I think that was probably the first one. There was maybe one before that potentially.
Yeah. And then you started doing more videos. You did like a deep dive on mascots. Like, talk to me about sort of just like some of these videos and sort of like the goal of it, if you have one.
I guess what we try and do is make complex ideas simple, but then also entertaining, right? Like that to me is kind of branding in some sense. There's an element of like personality and positioning and all of that good stuff, but like ultimately when you're talking about functional products, for example, there's a lot of information to break down and make it very easy to understand on shelf for a consumer. And I think for me, the videos were a way of doing that with our work, where no one wants to see a 15-page case study with loads and loads of text. Like even when I'm looking at other agencies, I don't necessarily want that amount of context. I think the way we consume information has changed massively, and that is useful for the people who want to deep dive, but most people don't want to deep dive.
I agree. Most people aren't going to read the 9,000 word sort of type at the end of your case study. Maybe at most they could digest a couple sentences, and truthfully, they're mostly just going to scroll and look at the pictures. But I do think, I think this is the sort of next layer of that is like, let's break it down for you and I can talk you through it.
Yeah.
And I think that content is really enjoyable. And if you do it well, I think it's not easy to do. I think you do it really well. Do you have a content strategy? Are you thinking about this as a studio, not agency?
As a studio, not an agency. I think for me, it's like, do you follow, I think they're called Front Office.
No.
They are, I might have slaughtered the brand name if it doesn't come up.
Okay.
I think it's called Front Office.
Okay.
There's a guy called Ken.
Okay.
And he basically does these kind of TikToks and Instagram reels in a very similar way, where he breaks down fashion choices and how fashion is made, and like, here's Carhartt, here's Stussy, like, here's the inspiration behind where all of this came from, and it's actually like 1920s workwear for the military or whatever.
Ken Sakata.
Yes,
is the name from Office from Melbourne.
And he's been a big inspiration for me in that sense, because he breaks down things that I don't care about, but the way he breaks them down, I now care about them. So I think there is an element of entertainment and explanation that can bring people from different worlds into your world. Because I just don't care about fashion at all, but I love his videos. And he posted something once that said, like, my goal is to be the Anthony Bourdain of fashion. Yeah. And I was like, it's a huge thing, of course, but it's such an interesting way to look at it. And not that I want to be the Anthony Bourdain of design by any means. It's a fucking...
It didn't end well for Anthony.
No, not at all.
He had a great ride, though.
He did, yeah. He had a good run.
But I think that there is, like, for me, I think there is... I want BKC to be a brand. I don't want us to be a studio.
Yeah.
I want it to be that, like, if AI takes over, it doesn't matter.
Sure.
Because we're telling the stories, and that you want to now be a part of that story from both the content perspective and the breakdown of the content, but also the actual work.
Yeah, no, this podcast is very much in line with that thinking, which is like, as an agency or studio, depending on the size of or how many people we have employed at any given moment, the work is the work, right? The work is enjoyable, fun, and again, in many ways, is what our business sells.
Yeah.
But I don't just want to be that.
No.
And this is our way of making content. But the video stuff is really fun because you can kind of break things down and also show it at the same time. But also, what I love about your content also is that you get real. Like, I think a lot of agencies might not say, like, hey, we just did round 1 and now we're in round 2 and here's the changes we're making. Or for Churn, you were like, yeah, we had this amazing award-winning package design, shout out to Dieline, and it's like, but actually we're changing it.
Yeah.
And it actually didn't work.
Yeah.
On shelf.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people would admit that, or they might be embarrassed, or they might feel like shame, or that it would make them look bad, potentially.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think there is trust baked into that. There's trust in being honest, and like, I think part of the content strategy is, if I am explaining this to potential clients on a call, like a process that we've worked through, or a project that had success or maybe didn't have success, as like we can't really do that because here's some things we've learned. How can I take that and give that to everyone, so that even if you didn't get on the call today, you still got the like lesson.
No,
and then
great.
I think that brings people in. But yeah, that video was like, should I fucking post this? Is this like making us look?
No, I think it's great. And I think that honesty and realness is missing in design, right? Where like, yeah, sometimes you do a project and you win an award and then you have to redesign it.
Yeah.
Or someone else will redesign it.
Yeah.
And I like that the way you positioned it. It was redesigning Churn again. And I think that humor sometimes bites some of the sort of maybe bad feelings maybe that come with it. But I do think it's really important, because I do think people just assume, oh, that did well and that's amazing, and you guys won an award for it, so therefore it's the client was happy and it's perfect and it performed well and never will be touched again by anyone. But the truth is, all these things are getting changed and all these things are going to have evolution, and sometimes you aren't so lucky to do it yourselves. So the fact that you built enough trust with the client to do the work in the first place, and then they're like, oh man, it actually didn't do what we wanted it to do, and that's okay, because now we're going to come back to you and we're going to figure that out together.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing. I think
definitely.
I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it's an honest thing that we need more honesty in design.
I think it's important for clients to understand that it's not like us versus them. It is like we're all trying to achieve the same thing here, and if we miss the first time, that's fine. Like that's important because now we learned something.
Yeah, and I think to assume that you're going to come, or that anyone's going to do anything and it's going to be perfect and never need to be changed or never evolve or never be adjusted or maybe rethought, or that's unrealistic.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's the old school way of designing where you're like, no, he carved this thing into stone and then he put it on, out into the world, and it changed. It was there for 180 years. You know what I mean? And it's like never needed to be redesigned because it was perfect. That's not the world we live in today.
No. And I think it's getting shorter and shorter before things need updating.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And also you just need good people to work with to help you figure that out together. And I think that's what you've done really, really well. We need to talk about Ask a Fuckboy.
I actually went to see this on Friday.
Okay. How was it? Because I've heard of it and I'd love to see it. First and foremost, what is it?
Ask a Fuckboy is Andrea, who is like the CEO, I guess, of CPGD.
Yes.
She has 100,000 businesses.
Yeah.
And one of them is a comedy show with her best friend, who's a comedian, where they have a panel of like certified fuckboys who come on, and then they have female comedians come on and talk about stories of like love that's gone wrong.
Okay.
And the panel of fuckboys weighs in and gives them advice and votes whether they should run or whether they should pursue this further.
Wow. So we're giving power to the fuckboys in many ways here.
It felt that there were times where the fuckboys had a voice. Yeah.
This is beautiful.
Yeah.
Because
Do you know what the certification process is like for that?
I don't know. They definitely were. Like,
you could tell.
Yeah. Although some were in relationships, so maybe.
Reformed.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah, no. In my head, I was like, man, this sounds like a real setup for these fuckboys. But instead, agency was given.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, because I think this is great because in many ways, we need to hear from these fuckboys.
Yeah. Although just to kind of report back from the field, the sentiment is that tall guys cannot be trusted under any circumstance.
Let's fucking go.
That makes sense.
Short kicks forever.
Yeah, no. Tall guys just, immediate from day one.
100% fuckboy rate.
Yeah.
We're so back. Short kings are so fucking back right now.
This is huge. And so, I didn't put together Andrea CPGD, which is like an internet directory for packaged goods, which I really love, that she was also doing all these awesome, amazing things, including Ask a Fuckboy. So you did the branding?
Yes. Yeah. We did the branding for them.
It sounds like a dream project.
It was so funny. It was so funny. And like explaining to the team, like, okay, well, the next project is called Ask a Fuckboy.
Oh my God. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, this is brilliant.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you got to see it in person. That's really great. I think I need to go check this out. It sounds like a good really strong content across the board.
I would sit at the back as a guy though.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I would try and hide in the crowd.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was way too visible.
Yeah.
Were you catching strays?
No.
Is it all just women? Is that
majority? And they definitely were like, we have 4 men here.
And they're like, and let's call them out.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
No, it was a safe space.
Yeah. Say I was curious about being part of the fuckboy contingency. Do you think I could?
I don't know if you could get certified, Alex.
I was going to say, I don't know if I have enough fuckboy.
I think you'd fail. I think you'd fail the certification process.
Potentially, yeah. Feels like it would be rigorous.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know that I have the creds for it or the stats. Before we get out of here, what's it like having 2 first names? Alex, Adam.
3.
3.
James.
Whoa. Talk about my research.
Yeah.
You have 3 first names.
Alex, James, Adam.
Wow.
Yeah, we should have saw that one coming.
Yeah, we should have saw this coming. Yeah. How does that weigh on your shoulders every day when you wake up and you think about it?
It's usually on email, where people I've been working with for a really long time say, "Thanks so much, Adam," and I'm like, "Oh, we're like week 8 of this project. You've called me tough. Alex so many times."
That is rough.
Yeah,
that's rough. But I mean, you do ask, I guess comes with the territory of having 3 first names.
Yeah, I mean, not my fault. But my burden.
That's right. And that's probably why you keep the middle one secret.
Yes.
Because God forbid, then
they start throwing James in the mix. I'm just fucked.
Yeah, for sure. What do you got on the horizon? What's next?
What we got on the horizon? Trying to grow the team.
Okay.
So
you trying to become an agency?
Trying to get agency status. Trying to break 5.
Yeah.
But 10 if it's going by center standards. So bringing on brand strategists, bringing on a couple freelancers so that we have some more input and different direction on projects. And then we're working on a bunch of fun rebrands, working with a women's sexual health brand, which is interesting because so much of what we do is food and beverage.
Yeah.
So it's been nice to have a new challenge there.
Do you find you get sort of pigeonholed into things as you go? Like in the beginning, you were the band guy, and then the restaurant guy, and now the CPG guy?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, but I think we do that to ourselves to some extent.
What's your thing?
Yeah, what's your thing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword.
It is, yeah. And it makes it hard to kind of differentiate between you and your work sometimes, I think.
Yeah, no, I only made that harder by naming the agency after myself.
Yes,
which you thankfully didn't do. But no, I agree with that. That is the burden.
Yeah,
that I wear. Well, thank you for coming, Alex. We're excited to continue to watch. How old is the agency now?
3 or 4 years. Not really sure.
Know, exactly.
Not
somewhere between. But doing really great work, and I'm glad that we get to become real friends now, not just internet friends. Kevin, anything?
No, keep the content coming, dude.
Yeah, keep the content coming and keep making us jealous and entertained.
Yeah, we'll start doing front-facing videos soon.
Maybe. Oh yeah, watch out for us.
You're coming for me.
We're
not coming for you.
No, we're not coming for you. We're just gonna try to rip you off. But again, you've ripped other people off.
Yes.
So this is the cycle.
I think that's all we're ever doing.
I can't wait to rip you off.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so awesome.
And that gives me a token for you guys too.
Absolutely.
That's right.
100%.
Yeah, you can rip us off.
Two-way street.
Yeah, exactly.
Start a podcast.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when's the podcast gonna start? That feels like a natural progression.
Yeah. I don't know. There's not very many interesting people around me.
Yeah. Where do you live?
I live in Eastbourne, God's Waiting Room.
Okay, you're still there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you really got to rebrand that.
Yeah. I will.
You got any ideas?
We can get.
What else you got?
I don't know.
I don't know if you need to rebrand it. God's Waiting Room sounds,
it's quite
perfect
hard
for merch.
Yeah, it is quite hard.
What's the thing there?
What's the thing? The people die there. That's the thing.
Not anymore.
Well, they
already
died
did that.
now. So then we have lots of dead. I don't know. What's the post?
A lot of bodies underground. I don't know.
I think we burn them nowadays.
Oh,
yeah.
In the air.
In the air. Yeah.
God's Waiting Room sounds like a great documentary, though. Like I would watch that.
Yes.
To follow the lives of these people,
just walking around town
on their last legs.
All right.
I don't know how you transition out of this.
I don't know that I can. I think that's where this podcast comes to an end. Thank you. Anything else?
Nothing else for me.
Great.
Kevin, anything else?
I'm good.
Cool. Very natural, smooth way to
hard
land
stop.
this plane.
That was a great one. That was really good.
No, that was really fun.